Love can survive disrespect, and that's why men stay longer than they should. Habit can survive disrespect, which is why routines keep going even when connection is gone. Loyalty can survive disrespect, because loyalty is often built on fear, history, and comfort. But desire cannot. Desire is the first thing to die when respect collapses. And once it's gone, nothing else can hold the relationship together in a way that actually matters. This is the part no one prepares you for. Relationships don't always end when love fades. They end when respect quietly erodes, one compromise at a time, until the foundation is hollow and everything standing on it is just waiting to fall. The moment she stops respecting you, the relationship is already a memory, not officially over, not announced, not dramatic, but internally archived. She's already shifted how she sees you, and perception is the only thing attraction answers to. From that point on, your words lose weight. Your effort loses impact. Your presence stops changing anything. You can still be there, still care, still try, and none of it reaches her in the way you think it does. That's what makes this stage final. Men don't notice it, because respect doesn't disappear loudly. It doesn't come with an argument or a confession. It fades through small allowances, tolerated behaviors, moments where you choose peace over position and don't realize the trade you just made. By the end of this video, you'll understand how respect actually dies, why men never see it happening while it's happening, and why once it's gone, nothing you do reaches her anymore. Not effort, not love, not loyalty. Because when respect leaves, the relationship doesn't fall apart. It simply stops responding to you. Love feels powerful because it's emotional, but emotion is not what holds position. Love responds to feeling. It rises and falls with mood, chemistry, memory, and hope. Respect is different. Respect is positional. It's not about how strongly she feels in a moment, but how she places you in her internal hierarchy over time. Love can coexist with doubt, frustration, even disappointment. Respect cannot. Once respect shifts, everything downstream changes, no matter how much love remains. This is where men get confused. They believe that if love is still present, the relationship is still alive in a meaningful way. But love doesn't require structure. It doesn't require boundaries. It doesn't require consistency. Respect does. Respect is built on how you carry yourself under pressure, how you enforce standards without anger, and how predictable your core is without being weak. It's about whether your words align with your actions, and whether your actions stay aligned when it would be easier to fold. Love reacts. Respect observes. Desire follows respect, not affection. Affection can exist without attraction. Care can exist without polarity. Even intimacy can exist for a while without hunger. But desire requires a vertical dynamic. It requires that she feels you are grounded, self-directed, and unmoved by emotional turbulence. The moment she senses that your center depends on her reactions, respect begins to thin. And once respect thins, desire has nothing to anchor itself to. This is why relationships don't collapse the moment love is challenged. They collapse when respect erodes quietly underneath love. She can still care about you. She can still worry about you. She can still want you to be okay. And yet, she can no longer want you. That's the part men struggle to accept, because it feels unfair. But attraction isn't moral. It's structural. She can love you and still leave you, but she won't desire you without respect. And once desire is gone, love alone becomes sentimental, nostalgic, even burdensome. It turns into something she carries instead of something that pulls her forward. When respect is intact, love amplifies attraction. When respect is gone, love only delays the ending. Men lose respect long before they lose attraction because they believe the wrong story about where respect comes from. They think respect is tied to status, money, dominance, or external leverage. That if they earn more, assert harder, or control the frame more aggressively, respect will return. But that belief is surface level and fragile. It confuses intimidation with structure and visibility with grounding. Real respect isn't granted because of what you have. It's granted because of how you are oriented to yourself when pressure hits. Respect is tied to self-orientation, to whether your center holds when leverage shifts against you, to how you respond when she pulls away, not when things are easy. When everything is smooth, almost anyone can appear confident and composed. Respect is tested when you're challenged, deprioritized, or emotionally displaced. Do you collapse inward and seek reassurance, or do you remain anchored to your standards without resentment? Do you explain yourself endlessly, or do you let your actions speak without chasing validation? Respect doesn't come from force. It comes from containment. This is where men unknowingly give it away. When leverage is lost, they panic. They bargain. They soften boundaries to keep connection. They tolerate behavior they once wouldn't, all in the name of preserving peace. And each time they do, they trade position for proximity. They believe staying close is the goal, not realizing that closeness without self-respect is what erodes attraction fastest. How you handle pressure is more important than how you perform in comfort. How you move when she pulls away matters more than how attentive you are when she leans in. Respect isn't what you demand. It's what you don't trade away. You don't earn it by insisting on it, explaining yourself, or proving your worth. You earn it by refusing to abandon yourself when the dynamic shifts, by staying consistent when it would be easier to bend, by holding standards without hostility and distance without drama. That's what positions you. And once position is lost, no amount of status or dominance can compensate for the fact that you showed her you'd sacrifice yourself to keep her close. That's the illusion men fall for, and the price they pay for believing it is respect they never see leave until it's already gone. After self-abandonment sets the tone, respect continues dying in predictable stages, each one quieter than the last. Stage 2 is emotional bargaining, and this is where men unknowingly accelerate the loss. Instead of standing in position, you start negotiating attraction. You ask what she needs. You ask what changed. You ask how to fix it. You plead for clarity, as if clarity will restore desire. But attraction isn't restored through discussion. Desire doesn't respond to logic. The moment attraction becomes a conversation, respect starts leaking out. Because what she feels in that moment isn't care, it's pressure. She senses that you're trying to talk your way back into a position you no longer occupy naturally. And once she feels that, her perception hardens, not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. You chase reassurance to calm your anxiety, but reassurance doesn't calm her perception. It confirms that your emotional stability now depends on her responses. You're no longer grounded. You're waiting. And waiting is never respected. The more you seek certainty from her, the more uncertain you appear. This is where respect quietly shifts from equal footing into imbalance. She stops seeing you as someone she can lean into and starts seeing you as someone she has to manage emotionally. Then comes stage 3, predictable weakness. This is where the damage becomes structural. She knows your reactions before you have them. She knows you won't walk, no matter how far the dynamic slides. She knows you'll stay, adjust, tolerate, and explain yourself indefinitely. And certainty of outcome kills respect faster than conflict ever could. Predictability without strength isn't safety. It's irrelevance. When there's no consequence to her pulling away, there's no reason for her to recalibrate. At this stage, she doesn't test you anymore. She doesn't provoke. She doesn't push. She already knows the result. And that's when respect is no longer eroding. It's gone. Not because you were weak once, but because you showed her a pattern, that your boundaries dissolve under emotional pressure, that your standards are flexible when attachment is threatened, that you'll trade position for proximity every time. The first thing she stopped respecting was the version of you that stopped respecting himself. Everything that followed was just confirmation. The moment respect is gone, it doesn't arrive with fireworks. There's no explosion, no dramatic confrontation, no clear sentence you can point to and say, "That's when it ended." It shows up as subtle contempt, a faint shift in tone, a slight exhale where engagement used to be. She listens, but not with curiosity. She responds, but without investment. You feel it as a downgrade in how your words land, as if they now carry less weight than they used to, even when you say the same things in the same way. Her tone becomes dismissive, not openly rude, just lighter, flatter, less serious. She interrupts more easily. She corrects you casually. She doesn't slow down to meet you emotionally anymore. Eye contact fades, not dramatically, but consistently. When you speak, her eyes wander. When you finish a thought, there's no pause to absorb it. The signal is clear if you know how to read it. She's no longer orienting herself around you. You're not the reference point anymore. Then the jokes start landing at your expense. Not cruel, not overtly insulting. Just small comments that reframe you as less solid, less decisive, less impressive. They're said with a smile, sometimes even disguised as affection. And if you react, you're too sensitive. If you don't, the pattern continues. This is where many men get confused, because the disrespect is coded in normalcy. Nothing is loud enough to justify confrontation, but everything feels slightly off. And that's exactly how contempt hides. This is the line most men cross without noticing. Disrespect doesn't shout. It sighs. It shows up as boredom, where interest used to live, as tolerance where desire used to be, as management where partnership used to exist. She's no longer testing you because she already knows the outcome. She's no longer trying to be understood because your understanding no longer matters to her sense of direction. When respect is gone, the dynamic changes permanently. You're no longer someone she relates to. You're someone she navigates around. And at that point, no amount of effort fixes it, because respect doesn't respond to effort. It responds to position. Once that position is lost, everything else becomes cosmetic. The relationship may continue for a while, but the version of you she once respected is already gone in her mind. And that's the moment everything that mattered quietly ended. When men sense respect slipping, their instinct is to fix it the same way they fix everything else, by giving more. more effort, more affection, more tolerance. They assume respect works like gratitude, that if they show enough care, patience, and sacrifice, it will be restored. But respect doesn't respond to generosity. It responds to containment. And the more you give once respect is already compromised, the faster it collapses. More effort looks like trying harder to please, anticipate, and accommodate. You become hyper-attentive. You remove friction before it even appears. You smooth everything over. And what she feels isn't devotion. It's desperation. Effort in this phase doesn't signal strength. It signals that you're working to hold on to a position you no longer naturally occupy. Effort without leverage reframes you as someone trying to earn relevance instead of embody it. Then comes more affection. You're warmer, softer, more emotionally available. You reassure. You remind her how much you care. But affection without respect feels heavy, not attractive. It places emotional demand on her at a moment when she's already disengaging. Instead of pulling her closer, it creates pressure. She feels responsible for your emotional state, and responsibility is the opposite of desire. Affection given from a lowered position doesn't heal the bond. It accelerates imbalance. Finally, there's more tolerance. You let things slide you shouldn't. You excuse tones, comments, behaviors that quietly diminish you. You tell yourself it's not worth addressing, that being understanding is mature. But tolerance without boundaries is not patience. It's self-erasure. And every time you tolerate what violates your standards, you reinforce the idea that your position is negotiable. This is why all of these fixes fail. Respect doesn't respond to giving. It responds to self-containment, to a man who can hold his ground without anger, without pleading, without overcorrecting. You can't earn back respect by acting like you need it. The moment she feels that you do, the game is already over. There is a point where respect crosses a line it doesn't come back from, and most men don't realize they've passed it until everything they do stops landing. This is the irreversibility threshold. Before it, dynamics can still shift. After it, attraction doesn't respond anymore. Not because she's stubborn, but because her perception has already reorganized itself around a new position. Once respect drops below that line, it doesn't regenerate with time, effort, or explanation. It stabilizes in its absence. This is where attraction quietly mutates into management. She no longer meets you as an equal presence. She manages your emotions, your reactions, your expectations. Conversations feel supervised. Her tone becomes instructive or accommodating instead of engaged. She anticipates your responses and adjusts herself to minimize friction, not because she cares deeply, but because she doesn't want disruption. You're no longer a force she responds to. You're a variable she handles. Desire follows the same path. What was once hunger becomes obligation. Intimacy, if it still exists, feels scheduled, mechanical, or performative. It's not pulled from her anymore, it's provided. And the shift from desire to obligation is final, because obligation doesn't create polarity. It removes it. There's no tension, no curiosity, no pull, just maintenance. And maintenance is not attraction. It's the quiet work of keeping things functional until they're no longer needed. This is the stage where men exhaust themselves trying to revive something that's already structurally gone. They mistake calm for hope. They mistake courtesy for care. They think if they can just behave well enough, be patient enough, loving enough, something will turn back on. But once she manages you instead of meeting you, it's finished. Not officially, not publicly, but dynamically. Meeting requires presence, management requires distance, and distance at this level isn't something you close with effort. It's something she maintains because it protects her internal stability. Once respect has crossed that threshold, the relationship doesn't need to collapse to be over. It simply stops responding to you as a man she orients around. And that's the line no amount of trying can move backward across again. The only way respect ever returns is not through fixing the relationship. And that's the part most men resist. Respect doesn't come back because you finally say the right thing or prove how much you care. It comes back only when you stop negotiating your position, when you stop explaining yourself into smaller and smaller shapes, when you stop staying in spaces where your presence is tolerated but no longer valued. This isn't about tactics, it's about posture. And posture is something she feels long before she understands it. The first shift is internal. You stop negotiating. You don't bargain for affection, clarity, or validation. You don't argue your worth. You don't plead for understanding. Negotiation signals that your position is flexible under pressure, and once that signal is sent, respect cannot stabilize. Ending negotiation doesn't mean becoming cold or hostile. It means refusing to place yourself on trial for existing as you are. Then you stop explaining. Explanation is what men reach for when they feel misread. But explanation from a diminished position only confirms the downgrade. The man who explains is still asking to be accepted. Respect doesn't grow there. It grows where actions speak without commentary. When you move with clarity instead of justification, perception recalibrates. Not because you demanded it, but because you stopped leaking need. The final and most difficult move is this. You stop staying where you're diminished, not dramatically, not with threats, with quiet resolve. You remove yourself from dynamics that require you to abandon your standards to remain connected. This isn't punishment, it's alignment. And here's the truth. Most men never hear clearly enough. Respect doesn't return to save the relationship. It returns when you save yourself. When you demonstrate, through action, that your sense of self is not contingent on her approval. Walking away doesn't guarantee respect, but staying guarantees its death. Because staying while diminished teaches her that she can keep you without meeting you. Leaving, or at least reclaiming your position without apology, is the only move that interrupts that lesson. Even if respect never returns, you do. And that alone is the line between a man who is managed and a man who is remembered. She won't argue with a man she doesn't respect. That's the first sign most men misunderstand. They think the silence means maturity, acceptance, or emotional control. They think the lack of pushback means things are settling. But arguments only happen when there's still something to fight for. Conflict requires engagement. It requires belief that the dynamic can still move. When respect is gone, argument feels unnecessary. She's no longer trying to change you, challenge you, or reach you. She has already adjusted to a version of reality where you no longer occupy a central position. She won't fight for a man she doesn't admire. Fighting is effort. It's investment. It's emotional labor. And women don't invest that energy into dynamics they've already downgraded. When admiration fades, so does resistance. She stops correcting you, stops reacting strongly, stops needing to be understood. And that calm can feel eerily peaceful if you don't know what it means. But it's not peace, it's detachment. She's conserving energy because she's already decided where not to spend it. What happens next is the most dangerous part, because it looks like growth. She simply outgrows you, not with anger, not with resentment. With quiet, emotional distance, she starts moving faster internally than the relationship can follow. Her interests expand, her inner world reorganizes, and you feel smaller by comparison, not because you changed, but because the position you occupy in her perception did. She doesn't need to defeat you or replace you aggressively. She just evolves past you. This is the blade most men never see until it's already cut them loose. When respect is gone, the relationship doesn't end loudly. It ends clean. No chaos, no drama, no emotional explosion. Just a calm, rational conclusion that feels premeditated because it was. By the time the words are spoken, the emotional exit already happened long ago. And that's why men are left stunned, replaying moments, looking for the fight that never came, the warning that never announced itself. There is nothing to fix at this point, no final speech that changes her mind, no surge of effort that reignites what's gone. Because respect isn't something you argue back into existence. Once it's gone, the ending doesn't need permission. It simply arrives, quietly, decisively, and without apology. Desire moved. That was the first fracture most men never noticed. A phase locked in quietly after that, misread as calm, mistaken for stability. And finally, respect collapsed. Not in a moment, not with a fight, but through a series of small trades that felt harmless at the time. Each step alone seemed survivable. Together, they formed an ending that didn't need drama to complete itself. This is the arc most relationships follow when men stay asleep inside them. Nothing sudden, nothing explosive, just a steady downgrade in position until there's nothing left to stand on. What matters now isn't regret, it's comprehension. Because once you understand this sequence, you stop being confused by how things end and start seeing why they had no other place to go. Desire doesn't disappear on its own. It moves. Phases don't pause out of kindness. They lock in. And respect doesn't erode because of one mistake. It collapses when a man abandons his center to preserve connection. Once you see that clearly, you stop chasing symptoms and start recognizing structure. And structure is the only thing attraction responds to. The next episode opens the final door in this arc. Warning: the moment she stops seeing you as a man. Not when she leaves, not when she cheats, not when she says the words. The moment her perception shifts from meeting you as a man to managing you as a presence. That moment is earlier than most men think, and once it happens, everything that follows is just timing catching up. You'll see how that shift occurs, how men unknowingly trigger it, and why once it happens, no amount of effort can reverse it. If this hit harder than you expected, subscribe. Not because it feels good to hear, but because it cuts through the comfort that keeps men stuck too long in dynamics that are already finished. Comfort keeps men trapped in false hope, waiting for things to turn around on their own. Clarity does the opposite. It gives you timing, it gives you leverage, it gives you the ability to move with self-respect instead of reacting from loss. This channel isn't here to make you feel better about staying small. It's here to show you exactly where things break, so you never have to pretend you didn't see it coming again. Clarity sets men free, not from women, but from the patterns that quietly erase them.